Mobile phones have become an almost inescapable part of daily life. The expectation that children are online, either on social media or to respond to instant messages, is there, and that weighs heavy on their mental health. We can see the impacts that that's having across the media, but also we feel the impact of that in school. We're here primarily as an education provider, and we want to make sure that that is always our sole focus here. But we are also here for the greater development of the child. And sometimes that means putting in place things to support them to take positive steps with their lives. We understand that actually moving away from a phone can be very difficult. The temptation is always there. And actually, when the phone is on their person, vibrating, or in their bag, there's always that thought about, oh, what's happening next? Or what am I missing out on? And that fear of missing out is genuine. But what we want to support students to do is to understand that it's okay to go through parts of your day where you don't need to be on your phone and that doesn't need to be around. We understand that that's difficult in the home because it's always going to be there as a temptation. But during the school day, there is a real tangible piece of time where students don't need to be on those devices. We've always believed that the simplest rules are the easiest to follow and have always operated a no phones in school policy. What we're looking to do is to go one step further with this now and to support students to take part in a digital detox and a daily switch off. We've invested in safety cases. So every day, children will arrive at school and all of them will place their mobile phones into our secure cases. Every child has their own individual slot, and when the phones have been collected, the case is then locked, and then the cases are securely stored in a locked room for the duration of the day. At the end of the day, without question, those phones are then returned to the students. What we're looking to do is to avoid any sort of conflict where a child is on the phone during the day. Quite often we're told, oh, I was just checking the time, or oh, I just had a message come through, I just wanted to check it quickly. And it enters into a period of conflict where we then have to enter a conversation to try and confiscate a phone that shouldn't have been out in school. We want to remove that entirely so that our focus can go back to solely being on supporting children to engage with their education. We understand that some students make use of the toilet during the day, and sometimes they're using that time to be able to check messages and to be able to go on their phones. Again, we don't want that as a situation because we want the child here focused on their education. We understand that absolutely you will want the ability to contact your child in case of an emergency. And our reception team are always here, and it's the best and most efficient way of getting information to a child is to pass it on to our reception team to make sure that they can then follow through. Equally, we understand that some students use mobile phones for cashless payments. However, we also operate Parent Pay. So Year 10 and Year 11 students will be able to use Parent Pay to make payments at our canteen each day. We do expect that there may be some students that want to try and bend the rules or circumvent these new things that are being put into place. For instance, they may bring in a phone that doesn't work or a phone without a SIM card, and we will periodically spot check students' phones to make sure that this isn't the case. Sometimes students may turn up claiming that they haven't got their phone with them. In these instances, we will always phone home in the first case to ensure that that is the understanding that you have as well, and that you know that that phone is either on your person or safely at home. We ask for your support with this. In cases where that's not the case and the student's looking to try and get around us, we do have a metal detector to be able to pick up whether that phone is on their person. In these cases, we will then operate a confiscation of 24 hours. It's not something that we want to do, but everything needs to have a backstop. And for students that are choosing to try and circumvent our system, that backstop will be a 24-hour confiscation. And I want to make that plainly clear to everybody now. The expectation is that we won't have to use that because everybody will be partaking in the same system. And again, it's everybody wins. We want all students to take part. We want parents to support us in this. We understand that some students may arrive to school late, and in such occasions we have separate lockers downstairs that are operated by keys for phones to be placed in. Likewise, for students that need to check medical conditions throughout the day, for example, diabetes tends to be one where levels can be checked via an app. Again, the phone locker will be used in this case as well. We want this measure to be seen in the way it is intended, which is entirely supportive and entirely designed to support students managing their mental health and managing time away from devices. We understand that there may be questions, and we are, of course, always here to answer those. I hope that that does what it needs to do to give you some idea about the reasons behind this policy change and what it will look like on the ground.